And we're live here on Champ Chat. Once again, joined by one of the first ever guests I've ever had a chance to interview on the show, Mr. Patrick Yapjoco. Thank you for joining us again, Patrick.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to get right into it. Where have you been since winning Worlds?
Took a long break. That was some intense, 3, 4, 5 months of just traveling and playing, and it like culminated in that Dragon Con and Worlds where it was just like rounds after rounds after rounds. So when that was over, I'm like, all right, let's take a quick, like a little break, and then just go back to organizing and judging my, my events. And then the new season came out, and I'm like, all right, let's see which one we could go to first. Obviously, it would be after my our regional that we had, but yeah, that's basically what I've been doing, just laying low.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had the pleasure of meeting up with you in Windsor, which was an exciting tournament in itself.
Yep.
Nice little surprise to see our old friend Patrick again.
Yeah, we were trying to, just surprise you, actually. But you found out.
You guys kept it good and quiet until the day before, but my legion of spies was in my favor. When you come to
that was definitely fun. What's that?
So when you come to my country, I know when you're coming.
The bells and whistles go off, right?
Absolutely. All my minions come and let me know. But I got you fresh off of a weekend tournament, the first one with tactics.
Yes.
From the ROC's point of view. So let's actually get into that. Now, I got you as placing 4th. Is that correct?
I got 3rd.
3rd, sorry. So you made it to the semifinals. What was your experience like as a whole? This new metagame, what do you think of it so far?
It's actually really fun. I like tactics more so than no tactics, just because you get to experiment with all kinds of different interactions that you wouldn't normally get for no tactics. I mean, I see the appeal for no tactics, but if you really look at it, it's down to 2 figures. It's Super Scroll or it's Kyle Rayner. But this one, you could play all kinds of stuff, and especially with the new sins. It was really fun and also stressful, testing for it, because we have no idea. Is the Pandora's box good? Is the Rock of Eternity good? Is Super Scroll still good with a lot of like Green Battery or White Witch or Agent 13 and stuff like that? But it was definitely fun. It was a diverse field for sure. There were a lot of new tech. There's quite a bit of sins too, especially Gluttony.
Yep.
That seems to be like the #1 new piece, and a few Nick Necros too, really good too, which I didn't expect.
I noticed 2 of them comboed up with Gluttony in the top 8. One of them played by, he goes by the name of the Bob.
Yep.
Yep.
Very familiar with him.
Yeah. He's actually been making some noise in the ROC a lot more lately. Recently playing 3 Banshees to the top 16.
Yeah. His motto is troll his way to the top 8 or top 16, whatever. That's basically what he was doing, and he was doing that again yesterday.
Yeah.
With his it was very unique, very innovative team, but oh man, it's like goes to time. It goes to time every round.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I mean, Nick Necro says you can't attack me, and Gluttony says go ahead and attack me.
Exactly. Yeah. And what he uses is, unless you have Precision Strike or like Energy Explosion or something, Nick Necro is going to just mastermind it to Gluttony.
Yeah.
And then I believe Nick Necro has Entity, and he'll just heal him back up 1. So he's always on his top click. That's how he does it.
Yeah. I believe the Bob's build had Black-Handed Ophidian on it.
Black-Handed Ophidian, okay. Because there was another guy then that had I think if you look at, his name's Paul. I think he had Entity on Nick Necro.
Yep. He's not listed who he has it on, but he does have Entity and Proselyte
on
his team. Pretty safe to go into that Proselyte's on the Gluttony.
Yeah.
So with regards to going in there, prediction-wise, did you predict as many of the batteries that showed up that were there?
Yeah, for sure. Because this is actually I mean, aside from, I don't even remember when the last time we got to see all the batteries used all at once. I mean, I think Dragon Con, it was only the black, white, and green, I believe. Um, and then they didn't come out with all the constructs for everyone until recently, so everyone has access to them. So now everyone has a chance to play whatever they want without being restricted because they don't have the constructs. So I saw blue, indigo, um, sapphire, obviously green, and then obviously there was a lot of oranges too. Yeah, that seems to be there was a couple of them that I've seen where, I mean, obviously the guy who won, Phil, played the orange with Super Scroll, which is really good because then you just basically pick anything, you know. So yeah, we definitely expected that, which is why we also try to test some kind of Lydia theme teams. And ironically enough, we did test a similar version of what Phil played, which was exactly those three pieces, but we did it with green battery. And
Right.
but we just felt that the +3 wasn't as sure as a +4 on your map roll. And she's, without taking their ring, Lydia's almost useless. So, I believe in the top four, the Bob won the map roll against him, and so it basically went to like not the roll off, but the rock way of determining to break ties, which is everyone takes damage until someone dies.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it went to that because he didn't win the map roll, so he couldn't take the ring. Otherwise, he would win 8-0 or
Yeah.
6-0, however many points that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's 6 for the orange. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. And Justino, I see made it to the final. His build, a lot of people are saying is going to raise the price of that green arrow.
Oh yeah. Day one it came out. When it was previewed, we saw it on the realms. I just told everybody, hey, when it comes out, you guys all need to try to crack and pull a green arrow because I think this is going to be the piece to look for in going forward because there's no map that you can stop him, which is crazy, like he's basically Bullseye on steroids, like he could do everything Bullseye can, minus the prob, but he can ignore elevated blocking. He can do energy he blocks everything. But yeah, he beat me in the semis, and so it's really good. If you look at it, it's power plant with Green Arrow, and we were he was bugging me about something with Green Arrow because he's like, I want to play him. I said, okay, well the first thing we did is we take a look at the previous Bullseye power plant teams, which were basically 3 entities: Bullseye, Despo, and something else with the power plant. +6 to map roll, you win. They pick an open map, and then Bullseye just goes boom and kills one guy in one shot, like right away. Like I think one of them was Bill. Those were like the basic shell of the teams. But now without a theme team, that Bullseye is not as good because if you get stuck on a map where you can't see and Bill is nerfed, you can't do that. So we're like, well, Green Arrow, you just take out a couple. You change things around. You put Green Arrow in Bullseye spot, and now no matter what map you're on, he'll hit.
Yeah.
So we went with that, and it's in testing it was really brutal. So and we were like, hey, you just go ahead and play it because he had the most practice with it. So
yeah, it makes sense. It's whoever's got the most practice with it plays that team. Along your team here, Kyle Rayner, head pool. Parallax, I'm assuming, is on Kyle Rayner.
Yep.
Kennedy on head pool. And you brought Kyle Rayner with the sniper rifle, and then you brought a green battery as well, with a nurse on spotlight in addition to the ring.
Yeah. That's it's your basic unkillable. Like instead of Bizarro, it's Kyle. So that shell is still there. I just realized that in this format, I mean with maybe there's 2 attackers maybe, but for the most part 1 really good one and maybe a second decent one. But with Kyle having the almost never dying, because he's gonna get onto the stop click and then head pull's gonna heal him 1. if you ever hit head pull, he's going to use Nurse to regen back up to that click. And then Kyle's going to have an 18 defense, +1 from the green ring is 19. If you perplex him with his own perplex, it's 20. If you feel that you don't need the sniper rifle and you need a higher defense, you can, on turn 1, you can power action and switch to a shield. And now he's going to have a 21 defense, like almost permanently. And if he gets to the stop click, it's going to be 22. It's really hard to hit that twice. And then, he's got he can have up to like a 14 attack, 5 damage, depending on what you need to do. And he'll have Psychic Blast because of Parallax. His stop click with Parallax isn't as good because you don't really gain anything. But really, it's the Psychic Blast. Sometimes I use Stealth if they don't have a Stealth bust. But also Impervious, so if they can't even, if they don't have a penetrating attack or something, they have to go through Super Senses and Impervious to get to the stop click. And then he heals back up, and then they have to deal with that again. Also, that second click, he can get to Hyper if he ever gets to that click. And I've used that a couple times where I just hypersonic speed all the way and hit the guy and run back.
Yeah, and then you're right there with any to heal back up.
Yep, exactly.
Well, now there's a couple teams on here that shocked me. For one, we have a White Rabbit in the top 16.
Yeah.
Played with not only a White Rabbit, but a White Rabbit with a red battery.
Yeah. Yeah, I really didn't get to see what it did, but he got in. I think there was a person. I think he was 16th, or he was 17th, but I think the 16th place guy had to go to work or something like that. Okay. And it had to drop, so then he got bumped up to get in, and he had already signed up for the side event Sealed, and he was getting ready for that, and they called him like, hey, no, you got to play. So he was excited to play obviously in the top 16, but I didn't get to see like what his strategy was, but he did play Justino in the top 16. So I looked at it. It was pretty close. It came down to, I think, Dexstar against a Green Arrow.
Oh, okay.
So it was pretty close, and Justino pulled it out. But yeah, I mean, I think it can. I think he had a lot of damage output. I think.
Well, it looks like it. I mean, with Butcher to up White Rabbit's damage, Zillius can collect some damage on itself, and Dexter can get pretty vicious if the right Blade's Claws will show up. Add that to the +1s because that's an entire Red Lantern team. I can see the output on it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think isn't it penetrating poison? That's that's either the ring or the emotional spectrum on the red battery, right?
But I know Dexstar gets it, I think, on his 3rd and 4th click, and Zillius Zox has it throughout most of his dial. Butcher gets it in his dial, but I don't know.
But the red bat, I think either the ring or the emotional spectrum gives penetrating poison.
It is the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this case, he wouldn't really be able to get that bonus because he's got.
Because they're all right. They're all red.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of that's one of those things I find with the Red Lantern is it's best to actually use the emotional spectrum on it. That penetrating poison is insane, and a lot of people underestimate the fact that you can carry with Giant Reach.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
Everybody's like, oh, you get 2 squares of close combat. What's that going to do for you? Well, add in the fact that you can carry people, and the Giant Reach itself doesn't stop them from being carried. So you have weird sidestep carry motions going on. I noticed there's a couple Book of Skulls out there. I guess it's still there, eh?
Yeah, I think it's still slotted perfectly in there because it's if you look at the the Pandora's Box and the Trinity, the Rock of Eternity, I think they don't actually give bonuses, or if they do, it's very hard to get. So you can use a bunch of powers, but the book gives you a bunch of powers and you get the bonuses.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's more expensive because you got to play split lip, but I think it's still really strong in there. I mean, I played against one and it just hurt him because I was playing the green battery, so it really slowed him down. But if they can avoid it, I mean I did play him in the top 8. Joe is playing the Banshee Maximus book team, and that was it was pretty strong. He was 4th after Swiss. So he was doing really well, and then that it's just that he ran into the green battery, which is one of the reasons why I decided not to go with a book team, because we did have a couple book teams, but just I don't know how often, like how prevalent the green battery is going to be.
Yeah.
So.
And I believe I was talking with Kevin last week from your team, and we both kind of agreed that the green battery is going to show up a number, mostly because everybody was given one if they participated in War Light. So.
Yes, yeah, that's another thing, and that's also why, like, you might see, like, maybe John Stewart or Kyle Rayner and stuff like that, because they are participation stuff for War of Light.
Yeah, and yeah, like the Kyle Rayner, he's very easy to get.
Yep.
Couple of Sinestro Core batteries showed up. One packed with a flash. I think actually two came with flash, and one of them came with it was a Phoenix
Silver
Core.
Centurion.
Another one with Silver Centurion. Silver Centurion was the more obvious one. I think we've actually seen that build before.
Yeah, there's a you've seen that. I mean, at our 1K event, at the co-main event where it was 300 Modern, Jake Williams and Paris Gordon were both playing a variant of Yellow Battery and Silver Centurion, and they were playing it with Despo Adara, and they were just using the defend and using the -2 from the ring to basically become unhittable.
Yeah.
So they got to hit like a 22 defense with a -2 attack. So that's really good. But I actually played against him in the top 8 and or top 16, and Kyle Rayner's more points than him.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I don't get I don't get the -2, and Kyle does have like a 14 attack, so it's actually not that hard to hit a 21 defense or even 22 if I have probability control.
Right.
So which is what happened. I was able to hit. I used the energy explosion and with a bulldozer and killed everyone, and then it was just Silver Centurion left. And so that was basically it. I mean, I did also roll a crit on that, but I think if I just like all I wanted to do was just to hit, get the knockback with the bulldozer so I can kill Despo with the energy explosion, kill the technician, and then just have to fight with Silver Centurion by himself. But the crit was a bonus because I actually did one extra I did 1 damage to a Silver Centurion. So that was like a little bonus.
Those little bits extra always help. One of the things I'm also noticing in this is the new cost of prob is 25 points. Atomica shows up quite a bit.
Yes, I believe now that's the new Scarlet Witch for like if you bought the Chaos War starter set or Fast Forces, you got it like 90%, or like the whole reason was because you wanted to get Scarlet. This one will be because of Atomica. Like she's insane. You can even put in like a little trick you can do also is like people will use the Despo Adara and pick either defend or prob. Well, if you put it on her, she already has prob with the CSA, so you pick defend. You have defend and prob. She's a 19 defense. Still pretty strong. She has stealth, precision strike. Really, really good for 25 points. And that's going to be something I think, along with Bizarro and Entities, are best 25 pointers you can see.
Yeah, and I think she also comes with plasticity early dial, which will stop a lot of the hypersonicers that show up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's right. We did talk about that. Like, wow, the plasticity will actually help in certain matchups.
Yeah, and I'm also I saw that one of the flashes played with a turtle, brought an orange lantern to specifically stop that.
Yeah. It's the whole pick up turtle. Do your full thing, and then when he drops him off, so he doesn't get the penalty for moving 5 squares or more.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by any figures that didn't happen to show up? Any figures that you think were you had a feeling were going to be there and just weren't there?
I thought there would be something. Okay, well, the first one I thought there would be more Banshees.
Okay.
Because in Tactics, there are way easier. There's a lot easier ways to get invulnerable, invincible, impervious, and even to a lesser extent, super senses. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to get that, in tactics, which means Banshee's value should go up to counter it because he stops all of that. If you think about it, there's Parallax, there's the Phoenix Force, there's who are the other ones? Like Ophidian, they all have like strong defensive powers, and Banshee just stops that. I thought, but I mean, as you saw, there was a guy that made it to top 8, so it did work. The other one I thought maybe we might see was some kind of White Witch somewhere in there. I didn't see one, but it makes it so that you don't have to play a green battery to stop them with free actions. And she's a wild card. She's got Legion. Wild card. She's got flying and deflection. So she's got a lot of good things going for her. But I just I thought I'd see at least one. I didn't see any. Because I guess the default is green battery. But if you don't want to play battery, she's a pretty good alternative.
Yeah. I have to say one of the ones that shocked me was Jenny Sparks not being anywhere to be seen. I don't know if there were any teams that were in the initial Swiss rounds, but she's got a lot of potential with a lot of the special defense powers that are out there.
Yeah, I think I saw one, but I'm not sure if he made it. But yeah, we did. We talked about it for so long, how to fit her in. Yeah, she's really good, I think. But I think the main problem is she doesn't fly. She doesn't ignore terrain for movement, and that can hurt. If let's say you get stuck on like an apocalypse map, she's gonna actually have to climb, go up the stairs regularly instead of just going straight through. But if she flew or she ignored it, it might work better. I think that might be one of the main reasons, well, at least for us, why we weren't trying her. We did maybe look at Phoenix Force because it gives her flight, or if you give her hammers, she can get one of the hammers to ignore. So, but maybe there'll be something out there. We just haven't seen it yet. It's still early.
It's still early in the meta.
Yeah.
And now with this, the results from this, we have 16 teams to practice around. Would you say this is a good indication of things to come, or is there still more things out there that we have yet to see?
Oh, well, I think it's. I think we don't even know like half of what's going on because we haven't. There hasn't really been a tournament or anything where you can actually try a Pandora's box or Rock of Eternity. And now that we have time, there might be something. I mean, I don't think it's that good. I think the general consensus is it's not as strong as the other ones, but that's also because I think we haven't really explored it yet. And then once we get more time, and there's another set, there's Age of Ultron, there's all these things coming out. Maybe there's something that makes it good. I think Belt has fallen out of favor, same as like M10 Iron Man. Even Firestorm I thought would show up something, but with the power battery being the resource of choice now, it seems you can just choose not to put a construct on one of your characters and just kill an Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the deterrents for Iron Man until it goes back to everybody playing Power Plant or Book of Skull or Pandora's Box, I guess. Then I don't think we'll see like those kind of pieces out.
I actually think Pandora's Box was very similar to the power battery, where it's not assigned until you get the resource on the character.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but then if you're not using it at all, at least the like if you're not assigning it to any of your guys, you're just like not even using any. You're just wasting all those points. Whereas the power battery, you still have the actual battery itself to use.
Yeah, and
to a lesser extent, like the green battery, you don't actually need to put a construct on your guy because you have the green ring to just nerf everyone without having to have a core member.
Right. Absolutely. I have to say, if I could share my experience with Pandora's Boxes, it is slow. You do get combat reflexes and energy shield from some of from all the resources, with the exception of Sloth, who gives a hard +1 to defense. Mm-hmm. But you don't see any stat bonuses until after the Sin is out there, and the random element of the powers isn't 100% trustworthy. I've had a lot of trouble trying to build around it, and even putting Outsider to drop the points on it is still adding 50 points to your team. So
that's true. Yeah, I did play against one in round one. It was a CSA themed team. It had Superwoman, Johnny Quick, and Owlman, and he had, I think, 3 or 4 sins on the Pandora's box. And yeah, when we were, it did take a while for him to get the stuff, but also, like you said, it gives you reflexes, sidestep, or deflection, and that's pretty much it. And then you roll every turn. You have to roll, I believe, to see which one you use. And I remember him going, I really need running shot this turn. I really need running shot this turn. And he'll roll, and it's not running shot. So he's like, well, yeah. He's like, ah, crap. There goes that one. Or the other one would be like, I really need prob. I really need prob. And oh, it's the running shot instead. And that's kind of I think that kind of sucks. You have a 50-50 chance of getting the power that you want. So.
Now, I don't think we're going to, because Worlds is in June, and I think Avengers Assembled is in May. So I'm going to kind of look to the future here. Nationals level, we're going to start to see this is going to define what people are reacting against in the U.S. Nationals. Although I think that's going to actually define the metagame a little differently once the U.S. Nationals comes along and we see the 32 teams that get there. But I want to look to the future to Worlds, where by then I believe Avengers Assembles will be released, and these new ID cards start to show up. Do you think their impact is going to be big on the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think anything that you can add pieces on the board without having to really pay the full cost for them, that makes things kind of borderline unbalanced, because this is why Maximus is so good. He's 75 points, but he brings in 60 points worth of beaters. Phantom X brings in Eva, Goliathkin brings in the Lion, Triplicate Girl brings in 2 other Pogs, and now you're gonna have this where you can actually have who knows how many. We don't even know, because I think they're like 5 points each.
Yep.
You get it's like, wow, it's like bringing in a bystander, but it's an actual figure that you want. That's the clicks that you want. I don't know. I mean, I know there's some restrictions and stuff, but it's going to be crazy, I think, to see all of these. So we'll see how they fix the sideline, because you can just be putting all kinds of stuff on your sideline. Maybe they might limit it or something.
Well, I do remember there being a limit written somewhere where it was 3 figures per 100 points of your team, up to a maximum of 15.
I did remember reading something like that. It was a long when they first introduced the sideline. They did say that.
Yeah.
I think it was 12 was the max, but I don't know. We haven't even really seen any enforcement of that.
Well, I know I had to look it up because my Nationals last year, my 10th anniversary team had a huge sideline because everything.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they're all there.
Who's all this on the map? No. Sorry, that shouldn't be touching the map. Can I get some space? I need space for my sideline. Yeah. My sideline was having its own game at the same time. So, my understanding as the world champ, this year you don't have to get into day 2 of Worlds. Is that correct? You just kind of walk in. I'm ready for day 2.
I just go right into the final day, which is just I think that's where we do 2 rounds of Swiss, and then it cuts to top 16. That's what it was last year.
Okay.
So I get into that portion. So
right.
I don't have to worry about trying to qualify through 3 or 4 different tournaments the 2 days before, which is what I had to do the year before.
Right. Do you feel it's a relief, a little bit of weight off your back going in, or is it?
Yeah, it is. But also I think the downside of that is you don't get the practice or the flow of the tournament as you're going. So last year, I think it worked for me because the day before when I qualified, I went 5-0 during the Swiss. It flowed freely, I guess you could say, and it was just very, I don't know, it was just easier for me to transition to it the next day when we're in the actual finals, because I had some practice and I had a feel for how the tournament was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, I just wait until that day, and I don't know. It's like going in without a warm up. You just go in and all right, we're gonna go play. I feel like you're playing basketball. You're like, okay, no warm up, no, you're not shooting any free throws, no layups. You're just gonna go right there, go tip off, go. It's gonna be kind of hard. It's gonna take a while, I think. So that's my concern. I mean, obviously, I'd rather not have to go through the grind, but I also would like to get some practice in.
We at that point take a chance to maybe hit some battle royales to get a feel for it. And
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look at the battle royales and also the side events because I definitely want to try to play in like if they have like indie tournaments, I want to play in those because we don't indie doesn't get any love at all, and I hope that changes soon
yeah.
because there are some really fun pieces out there, and with the Millennium Stone out, I think we're missing out on some fun times with indie.
Yeah, absolutely. I know myself and Amber have actually been having a ton of fun with the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Amber has become one of the scariest players in the Yu-Gi-Oh realm of clicks that I've ever played against. And she's also been getting better at the game as it stands. She's actually starting to point out strategies that I didn't initially think of, and
Nice.
she's getting scary. And
Well, she has a good teacher. She has a good testing partner, right?
all the years of punishing her, she's starting to turn around on me. Yeah, I'm the only guy who can go on TV and beat his wife on a regular basis. Okay.
Only in Canada.
I say that, so I have to.
Nice.
So now that you've kind of come out of hiding, Kevin was telling me you guys still practice on a regular basis, pretty much the same schedule as you used to, or have things changed with the new store location?
Yeah, well, now because my store is only Heroclix now, we can actually dedicate the whole time and resources to testing there. Whereas before there would be times where we couldn't go because there would be like a Magic tournament or like some release event or something, Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. But now the release things are Heroclix related, all of them, and really everything else is just for the online store. So I'm just there, packing and mailing. So when they do come in, we do have the whole store to test and use. But I guess from Windsor to now, like we're testing at least, I would say 3 times a week if you count like the league and regular tournaments that they come, because we also use that as practice. But yeah, we've been really excited for the new format, and then obviously the Windsor one that we went to, we were anxious to try our hand at it, or at least me, because I haven't gotten to play in no tactics in a long time. So, but yeah, the new format now is, I think it's really fun. I hope there's something with the new resources that could come out, because if not, it's just gonna be battery wars everywhere.
The war of the batteries.
Yeah.
I believe this is going to be that year where we're going to see the batteries one more solid year, and that's going to be the meta game for as far as resources go. I've been saying it for a couple weeks, and I'm wondering if your thoughts are on par with mine. We've seen Pandora's Box, we've seen the Rock of Eternity. We've actually gotten a look now at the Korean Supreme Intelligence.
Oh yeah, I just saw that one. Yeah, that's like a better penguin.
Yeah, a penguin that doesn't do what penguin does negatively.
Yeah.
Having seen kind of the direction they're going, we haven't seen the war room table that uses the ID cards yet. So we've seen the functionality of the ID cards without that. I can't imagine what it's going to be like with that. Do you feel like the resources are going to start taking a turn for the less potent, and we're going to see the Pandora's Box actually seems good in comparison to the other resources once the batteries phase out?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point that I think I don't think anyone has really talked about this, but this happens in all games. When the power creep gets too strong, they have to tone it down. So there's going to be a time period where everything's toned down, and then when everything that was powerful gets rotated out, we have the less powerful stuff being the only choices we have. So we're going to have to choose the best of that bunch. And like you said, maybe it is Pandora's Box, maybe it is Rock of Eternity, we don't know. But yeah, I agree definitely. I think from what it looks like from the 2 resources and the Supreme Intelligence, of course we don't know what the Avengers boardroom does, but it does look like it's toning down a little bit. Although if you look at some of the figures in the Trinity War set, I don't know if that's the case because
Yeah.
there's some really powerful figures. I mean, like Nick Necro, Batman, The Sins. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
I,
But I definitely think that they have toned down quite a bit
I can
from the
imagine the
Gauntlet
direction
belt.
at this point is going back to the characters and away from the resources, where the resources were there and making, in some cases, what would be considered unplayable characters a lot better, taking certain weaknesses that they had and replacing it with, not having that weakness. Um, and if it continues and we have the characters being the stronger thing, then the resources will be now adding on to greatness instead of.
Yeah, you're when you say that they're about the characters, I think it's also I take that a step further. They really want to reward you for playing actual theme teams. If you start
Yes.
looking at their stuff that say if you're part of a Justice League of America or part of a Crime Syndicate theme team, you get this bonus. It's even carrying over to the Age of Ultron movie set
Yeah.
because I think the Nick Fury there is insane. He's really good if he's part of an Avengers theme team. If you've
Yeah,
seen
especially
that
with
Nick
some of those
Fury.
characters that have the Avengers Assemble trait, where you,
Yeah.
you hit your opponent and you make them choose.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's cool. They're going because I remember they started going away from the theme team stuff
Mhm.
a while ago when and then they said okay we have to make it we have to go back to the theme team stuff, which is why they changed some of the rules of ATAs where you can only play it on a theme team, so you're like incentivized to play a theme team. And
And
now they're taking a step further with the Trinity War and Avengers Age of Ultron movie set where you get bonuses for being a specific theme team.
the errata to entities kind of help that, where you actually have to work with the team now as opposed to it's an
Yeah, yeah. Instead of the what's it the shortcut way of getting a theme team. They
yeah.
actually want you to make an actual theme team.
And that's where I want to kind of take my next line of questioning. Entities, they're there. Are they still a necessity in the metagame, or do you think that it's possible to build a team that's competitive without even looking at your entities?
I think it's I don't know. I think it could go that way, but as of now, I think you need to have an entity. I think every team that I saw had at least one. It just basically is a mini resource for your character, and a lot of times I've noticed it's either because they need to get the defensive power from them or some kind of attack, whether it's Pulse Wave, Psychic Blast, or Blades, or Super Strength or whatever. But I think those are the two main things that they get is those, and obviously the stat boost. Until there's some other viable reason, like let's say they play theme team, and if you're a theme team, all your guys with this keyword get +1 attack. Something like that, or everyone gets toughness, or everyone gets this, then maybe that might be like an alternative to playing an entity, because you could be like, well, I'm sacrificing an entity to play a theme team, but at least the theme team I'm playing will give me some bonus to offset the loss of an entity.
Right.
Maybe that's what they might be going towards. I don't know, but I think that's the only way I can see entities being gone, because it's really strong.
Yeah. So right now you're predicting another year where entities and a power battery are pretty much your musts on your team. And if hopefully my predictions are correct, this will be the last year of having to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it was entities were there last, so they usually do 2 years of whatever set
Yeah.
is out. So this will be the second year for all of the War of Light stuff. So I would assume next year it would be gone.
Yeah. And it's a shame that the power batteries in all their miasma of colors are only going to get to see the one worlds versus the green, white, and black that got to see.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, didn't even think about that. Yeah, right, because it was only green. It was only green, white, and black were legal, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And then with the phase out coming next year, not this year's phase out. This year's phase out is going to see. I still predict that Wolverine and the X-Men is likely gone, but I don't want to count it out just yet. because of the date line that's following.
Yeah, that's true.
That's this year.
Because I remember it came out.
But
It came out I think a week after Worlds 2 years ago. I think. Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of like where Justice League 52 came out the week before or the week of, and then of course there's Guardians of the Galaxy that that showed up the week of this past year, right? So like the week that that Gen Con started was the week that Guardians of the Galaxy showed up. So there was a lot of seal that you guys were running for Guardians of the Galaxy out of excitement. It's like, Guardians of the Galaxy? This is new. Let's get it.
Yeah, you're right. Because I remember, yeah, you're right. Because at Worlds, it was Guardian sealed for the qualifying for the team. The team qualifying was Guardian sealed. So yeah, it wasn't even legal for that either. Huh.
Yeah. We're starting to see a rotation where one set comes out about the same time as Worlds, and you predict it's either the bubble or it's gone, and you can't really 100% guarantee either or with the timelines and the way that they run.
Yeah, that's true.
And that becomes the scary part when you're testing. I don't know if you Kevin, and just and the rest of your team. You guys have more than just the three that practice, right?
I mean, there's the three main. It's just us three, really, the main. But we also have like Ryan, Paul, and Chris, and a couple other guys who come and help. Like this one, Paul Lau, he went with us to Florida. And he's starting to he said he wants to like dedicate more to getting better and playing in the competitive circuit. So like, all right, well then come test with us, and we'll come with us to Florida, and that's how you basically get started, right? You just got to go play.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been playing and he's like one of the better players in our locals, and he just doesn't get out very much. So
Right.
this is I think he went to Worlds last year, and then this was like his second big thing outside of the local area.
Yeah.
So like we have we have people like him who come and help out, and they have a lot of good input too, because we might miss something and they say, hey, look at this. Like he was playing Freddie Freeman.
Right.
And it's surprisingly good. I knew he was pretty good, but I didn't know he was like this good in tactics if you put the right stuff on him.
Yeah. I honestly, just before the day before Windsor, I had to switch my team up because I had a team with Freddie Freeman, Johnny Quick, a bunch of Star Labs techs, and Blind Al and Atomica. It was a huge team for 300 points, but that's me. You know me.
Yeah.
There's a ton of TK from the Hypersonicers, and of course Freddie Freeman hits hard, and Johnny Quick hits hard once, and then he's kind of wounded, but you send him back to one of the Star Labs and he's going to be healing. That was my goal. But my matchup with the Zombie Super Skrull was not good.
Not many pieces have a good matchup with Zombie Super Skrull.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I want to take the conversation back to the RC. This Zombie Super Skrull team. Is this something? A lot of people were discounting Zombie Super Skrull because of the presence of the green battery. But myself personally, I didn't 100% discount it because I still thought he was really good with the orange battery. Is this going to be the thing that you got a plan for as well? The presence of the Zombie Super Skrull along with an orange battery.
So just a quick little thing you're just realizing. Like if I had won my semifinal match, it would have been Kyle Rayner versus Super Skrull again in tactics this time. So everyone's it's funny because everyone's complaining, oh, we gotta play tactics because that way we will stop seeing Kyle Rayner and Super Skrull. But had I won, then it's Kyle Rayner Super Skrull anyway, and so which would be kind of really funny. Yeah. But the only way, like when I saw him, he was able to get the ring every time because he was a +3 to his map roll. So he won, and he was able to get the green ring. I think he played at least. I saw at least 2. Maybe he played more. But when you take it, you just like you like uncage the beast, right? With Zombie Super Skrull, you just not only do you have an advantage on points because you score those 8 points. But now Super Scrub can do whatever he wants. So we were still kind of skeptical about Super Scrub just because we felt there was gonna be a lot of greens, and then we felt that the +3 on the map roll was not enough, and if you lose, you'll lose. I played against a guy in the second round, and he was playing the exact same team. He was his friend, exact same team. I win the map roll. He doesn't get the ring. The game's not close.
Right.
Because now Super Scroll is he's basically useless.
Right.
He can't pick a power and then do an action after that because it's going to require him to have either a running shot or a charge or a hyper or something, and he can't do that anymore. That makes the battery not quite as good either because without being able to choose all your powers, the battery won't be able to nerf as many powers. So, and against Kyle, who hits hard, it was just a matter of time before, he went down. So that was kind of like my worst fear. It was realized when I played against him, like, oh, this is why I don't play it. But then, if you play it and you do happen to win the map roll every time, then Super Scroll becomes probably the best piece still. But,
So, American Nationals, what do you have any predictions for American Nationals? Because that's actually next weekend, and I originally planned on getting a round table beforehand. I might still try to do that, to do kind of a big conversation with a bunch of people either going or who have in the past won or done well in it. But do you have any predictions going in with regards to what's going to win, what's stylistically what's going to win, what's going to play? And I do also want, before we get into that quickly, it's sealed only to get in to the 32.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I know over there, the mentality over there is sealed is the best measurement of skill, and that's like they really believe that to get in. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's the end all be all because it is still what you're pulling. It is what you're pulling. Obviously, the counter argument to that as well. If you're that good, you'll make it work. Sure, but there are times when you just don't pull anything that good. No matter how good you are, you're just not gonna do well with it. But that's beside the point. As for what I think will be good, I still think Lydia will be like a big factor because of all of the power batteries that are out. If Lydia, if they can find a way to ensure winning the map roll with Lydia, you get that ring. A lot of the strategies are predicated on the actual ring, because why else are they using it?
Yeah.
Like you get the Sinestro ring, they're not getting the perplex, they're not getting the -2. You get the green ring, there goes the whole nerf strategy. You get the orange, now they can't nerf you.
Yeah.
So I think that, or the another one would be the indigo battery. That's a pretty big one too. You take that out, now they can't hide.
Yeah.
You take the blue, they don't have perplex. Things like that. So I think Lydia will be. I think a winning team might have Lydia, which is what we just saw in Florida. But maybe we might see something from the new Age of Ultron set. I don't know. I mean, I think the Hawkeye in there is really good. The Avengers Assemble Hawkeye.
I think both of them are good.
Yeah, they're both insane. Scarlet Witch could be nuts if you can find the right team with her. Mm-hmm. For 55 points, you got Perplex and to either boost the Hulk by +2 or boost somebody else +1 all the way through. That's really good for 55. And who knows, maybe you might actually see that Hulk, although the pulse rate would hurt him. But he's got like 4 stop clicks. That's insane.
Yeah. The starter set one has the late dial 4 stop clicks, but the main set one has the 2 stop clicks that aren't ignorable. So pulse rate doesn't that one that badly. Although that one is also, I think it's 300, 250, or 200.
Oh, see, that's probably why. Because the other one is 150, so it's more manageable.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah, you pair it with Scarlet Witch. Well, who knows?
and I can't tell you how many times I look at that Captain America that can close combat 6 squares away and go, I want to book a Skull's Quake with you so bad.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, does it have to be line of fire?
The squares have to be line of fire.
Okay. Oof. Because I'm like, yeah, because he just quakes, right, and just hits everyone.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane, as it is. Now I do have to ask because we've talked. You said Lydia is going to show up for American nationals. Do you think it's going to be the same for Canadian nationals? Do you think? Like, I listen to the Quarry on a regular basis, and they have some weird thoughts about us up here.
How so?
I think their exact words were, "I can't wait to see this Canadian meta because these guys like to put a lot of figures on the board."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I went there, you guys had a lot of unique builds. So, and that just, I mean, that's a lot of that is the regional thing, right? Maybe you guys aren't as influenced by what the metagame is over here. So you guys are just influenced by your own metagame. So you come to your own conclusions. Some will be the same, some will be different. So when you see like a Book of Skull team with 4 promotion figures, there's like we're not gonna we don't over here we don't really look at that. But then we go up there like, oh wow, that's a new way to look at it. Okay. There's also I think the thinking for you guys up there is always have like unique builds.
Yeah.
I think that's what I get when like the last couple times I've gone. It's always unique, always something that you don't normally see. Like I remember Rob Barazal when he came to our 1K in our 300 like modern tournament. He played long shot. Like nobody plays long shot, but he did, and everyone was just, we never looked at him before, but it takes another perspective for you to to look at things. So, but I definitely think that up there you guys have some. Obviously, you'll see some maybe Super Scroll or Count Rainer here and there, but for the most part, I think you'll see all kinds of like. Your example would be up there. I mean, I know people talked about Johnny Quick a lot, but I haven't seen as many. But up there, it was like Johnny Quicks are everywhere.
Yeah, I can think of 4 of us from the Greater Toronto area that all played Johnny Quick.
Exactly, and yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like here, they talk about it, but until you actually play it, it's just like whatever. It's all speculation. But you guys actually tried it and played it, so that and then maybe you look at results now. Some people might be like, okay, we got to actually try Johnny Quick. So.
A lot of us were screaming YOLO with them, I'm not going to lie.
I know.
TK him up, hit for as hard as you can, and pray to God he makes it back. We know he's got the shape change. It's there's that.
Yeah, that's funny.
I know myself and Amber have builds that, when we looked at this, had nothing in common with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I know I myself sent you a couple of my late night ideas.
You know that the greed, the gluttony thing that you sent me, like that was actually a thing. There were people playing greed, orange battery, gluttony, orange battery. Like I was like, he's onto something.
I think I stumbled on that one, and I think I was drunk when I made that team. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm Canadian and can say that for a lot of my teams. But I just. I saw greed, and it's like there's so many powers you can give him with relics if you choose.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You can really do a number with it. And of course, there's some strategies I've tried with greed that didn't quite work. One of the ones I've really been pushing with is using greed with a red ring. Get your opponent next to you, and since I got an orange battery, I'm now plasticity. Stick around. I've got a red ring. Eat some poison while you're double tokened.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he. What always confuses me is like he gets the whatever you want, and the guy gets his. Your teammate gets his relic, right? Yeah, I always confused because I remember we were talking like, oh, why don't we put greed with Kyle and throw on a lasso on Kyle? Like, oh, wait, that doesn't work.
That's not how that works. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Greed was one of the first ones I tried to break, and then I watched him crumble every time he's got a big target on his head because he's got so much on him. And
Yeah, and he's also, what is he, like only a 17 defense?
yeah, he's 17 defensive combat reflexes.
Yeah, he's shallow dial too, right? He's like 5 clicks.
Yeah, 5 clicks. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
mystical and quintessence, but he's not been working for me personally.
Yeah. That's why gluttony for what 40 points more is crazy because you get a lot of play value out of gluttony.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're at about the hour mark. I talked a fair bit about the Melbourne. Is there anything else you want to discuss yourself while I check to see if we have any questions on the channel?
I don't know. I just hope that Nationals goes off really well. I mean, I will say this is what I wanted to say about WizKids. I know that they get a lot of flack. They get a lot of like with all the delays and you're not answering all the rules, you're doing all this. But what I think they should get credit for is look at the amount of chatter that they're creating in this game because they come up with new things. I think the way that the game is designed and the way that they can add things to the game, although it is kind of daunting when there's all these new things, but that's what makes it exciting. We get to see all these cool characters. Look, there's the Quinjet. There's a Supreme Intelligence who's a figure and a resource, but there's the Wild Dials. There's the D20 figures. There's the new boardroom, the sideline, all these things, and I think that makes it like if it wasn't for that, the game would be bland and the game will die. So I think we should at least give credit to the designers, even though maybe it's not as balanced as we would like it to be, and they're not as prompt at answering and addressing things, but they're doing what they can with their limited staff or resources. And I for one, I just hope it just keeps going because it'll help grow their scene. It'll help grow the rock scene, the competitive play, and you can see these events, these rock events, like the numbers are just like growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
And what I like too is the stigma of the competitive scene is slowly changing. It's like slowly disappearing, and a new perception of it is happening because everywhere you go now, they're just, oh, I went to my first event and everyone was nice, as if they were expecting everyone to just have pitchforks and a bunch of jerks, but that's not what it is. Like when I was in Melbourne, they were like, I had at least four people come up and tell me it was their first time here and they're so excited and they didn't expect it to be this much fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's what it's all about, man. It's just you think because everyone's trying to play to win, you can't have fun, but that's not. It's actually when everyone's there with the same mindset of playing competitively, everyone. It's better. It's better off for everyone because then everyone understands what you're there for, and then there's no one that's gonna get butt hurt or so to speak. So.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I met you was Canadian Nationals, which is supposed to be a tournament, and we're the best of friends now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I go to these because I get to meet great people. I get to meet like you and Amber. I get to meet your crew, the guys in Texas, the guys in Oregon. Everywhere I go, I'm like friends with them. I keep in contact with them. So then when we go, we meet, and it's just like spread goodwill. And I think I think that should be the focus of these events. Aside from the competitive nature, it's just a gathering of the community and growing the game and just having fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, competitive play has always been the one, the set of tournaments that I've always had the most fun, met the most people. And Heroclix as a whole has been the one game where I can't believe how many friends I've made just from this game.
Agreed.
Almost as many versus tournaments as you went to, and I couldn't peel a friend off of my shoe.
Yeah, it's so weird. Card games are way different. I don't know why. Because I started again playing Magic again, and it's you're right. I mean, it's like almost silence when you're playing with them.
Yeah.
And in Heroclix, it's just banter back and forth. Everyone's just laughing, making jokes, whatever. But you play a card game, it's like silence, and you're just playing poker basically.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, he thinks I'm here to steal his money. It's like, no, I'm cards, man.
Yeah. It's
He has
weird.
to go. Good luck. To me. Yeah. All right. Well, Patrick, I want to say thank you very much for joining us here. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And I hope
The honor is mine.
next week to talk to the winner of the Florida tournament, hoping he gets back to me. If not, I'm going to have to find another person to talk to. In the meantime, guys, never forget that Patrick runs his store through eBay right now, Majestics 10, I believe?
Majestics, yeah, it's, well, if you go on eBay, it's just Majestics CCG. That's the store name.
Yep. So he's still running that through eBay, and he's starting to get a location for tournaments soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, we do have it already. It's in Orange. It's in Orange, 1818 West Chapman Avenue, Suite K, Orange, California 92868. And we have tournaments there basically Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So just look at the calendar.
A lot of time.
Or go to HC Realms and take a look.
Can we move to Orange County so we can play lots of Heroclix, Amber? As well, guys, don't forget tomorrow night at around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be running the Metal Lab. Hopefully to have most of the crew back from their wonderful Easter holidays. In the meantime, guys, never forget, practice makes your team better. Look, made a world champion.
Thanks, guys.